And next week, so this is week 11, and then next week is our final week, week 12. Now we had a little extra time because last week I just did like launch reviews, and so I gave you an extra week to integrate. I just sensed that we needed that. Sometimes this summer, the transition from like spring schedules to summer schedules, I've been feeling that right now because my son is now out of school. This week, week 11, is emerge. We're talking about momentum and magnetism, lead flow, and joyful growth. So, we're going to integrate the work that you've been doing with your launch calendars and with your lead magnets. We're going to kind of bring it all together. But I think that the energetic frequency that I desire to create from, and that I love it when I see my clients creating from, and I see you guys doing this, is that frequency of joy. So, really getting into like the having fun, right? And when the world, I mean, in LA, it was pretty chaotic the past weekend for multiple factors, right? Like all these external things that really we don't have much control over. And whenever you see that, and if you're really sensitive to energy like I am, I really feel the density of like what's going on like in the city, right? And so we have to really do, and I sent an email out. So I believe you guys are both on my mailing list, but I sent an email out to the list of like different energetic practices. And I'm sure that you have your own that you can do when you really want to shift the frequency, when you want to change the frequency. Mine is like I go out and do shamanic practices like out in nature for like a whole day. It's like nature therapy. Um, and I work from there too. Actually, I get a lot of downloads and a lot of beautiful work done. But I want to talk about really just tuning into that frequency of magnetic joy with your launch calendar. I saw that Marie has been selling her retreat. And so I know when we're in that frequency, the sales, it's just like magnetic because people want to buy from people that are joyful, that are having fun, that are delighted with what they're selling. And so this week, we're going to honestly assess what is working in your lead flow strategy and maybe what's not, and then realigning with your soul's yes through playfulness, through connecting with spirit, your spirit, divine spirit, whatever you believe in. Um, your inner power, and then refining things from there. And so I heard a check-in from Emma, and I want her to just repeat like her big win, and then we'll hear Marie's win as well, just to like kick it off. So Emma, will you start us off with your win that you just shared?
Yeah, Penrod.
Mhm.
So I was accepted into an art fair that is on the grounds of the Indianapolis Museum of Art, um, which is now called Newfields. But yeah, I'm really excited for that because it feels really good to be in that, and it's my hometown. And I've already done a show there, so I'm able to already have an audience and say, "You're welcome to come to this," and it's more open to the public, so it doesn't feel too exclusive. So
Yeah.
there are no barriers. So yeah, it's just an easy invite for all of my people in Indianapolis.
I love that. And the other win, which maybe doesn't feel like a win-win, Emma, but you made an offer to somebody, right? And then you realigned it with a downsell, which I think was really, really smart. And your downsell isn't really time consuming. And I love that. And since we're talking about funnels today, I think it's really important to highlight that too. So, do you want to share that a little bit?
Yeah, I wasn't sure which win you were talking about, so I guess I went to the one that felt like a win. But yeah, this
No,
one.
no, both are, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I was actually talking about the art
Okay.
first, but then I think this is like a second one would be good to hear as well from you.
Yeah. Someone on my Instagram, who I met at the last art fair I did, reached out about a commission, and it was a 3 foot by 4 foot commission. And so, like,
Huge. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And we like got through all of the details, and then I brought the price which was over 4,000. Um,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, my budget is 400."
Yeah.
And
And that's
like that's just
okay. But
not
like
realistic
this,
for my style. Like, no.
I know, I get it. I get it. But I do think that, well, I know that what you're doing is you're setting the energetic frequency around your work.
Hmm.
And in our one-on-one, I've been scoping out a lot of different online galleries. Like a lot of people are just buying more and more art online now. And I love going in and looking and seeing all the work that's selling for 4K, 5K, 6K, 10K, right? And so you're setting the energetic frequency around your work, and then you're going to start to work with some of these galleries. They can sell some of the work for you. And then the second thing, which is what I wanted to highlight right now, since we're talking about funnels, is the downsell. That is actually really beautiful. I had a woman, an artist reach out to me about joining my 30-day container, Quantum Collaborations, which kicks off next week. And, she's new to my world. And so sometimes people will jump into my world and spend 888 and they're like fine with it. But a lot of times they are going to take the smaller offer first and then they're going to take the higher offer. Like both ways are fine with my funnel. And so the 888 was a little bit much for her, I think. And I also looked at what she was selling. And so I could see that her business is not quite, um, it's maybe not quite elevated yet to the level that it needs to be for her to be in one of my 30-day live containers. And so then, of course, I offered her the downsell, which is the digital workshop that was just the one day for 88, and she took it. And so that took literally no time for me because it's a digital workshop. So she can just go, she can have it, she can take it, and then she can know that my teaching is really solid and really legitimate. And then she can jump in when she gets her business to the level that she's ready to have live coaching for 4 weeks because the women inside this container are calling in these massive things. And if she's not quite there yet, it's going to be a little bit too much for her, right? And so this guy is another good example. He might not be, as serious of an art collector yet, but you might be the one that kicks off his more serious art collection. And secondly, I love that your downsell, Emma, doesn't take that much time for like from you, right? That it's $100, $200, and that it's a print that is already created. So our downsells in our funnel should take less time. They should be ways that people can enter into our world, ways that people can start collecting our work, or ways that people can start experiencing our services. And so that is what I'm excited to talk about today. And Marie, I saw you're having like a lot of awesome wins on in stories. Is there anything that you'd love to share with the group today?
Yeah, so I had another lady register in my retreat for a single occupancy in the castle, right, overlooking in
The
Tuscany. So
castle. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
so I'm renting the castle, so I only have 4 rooms to available, and
Mhm.
only one is 2 beds. So there's going to be 5 people, 8 at mass,
Mhm.
eight
Super
at the
intimate.
most.
Yeah, I love that. Mhm.
Yeah, so I have 3 registered, so I just need 2 more ladies. But I was so excited when this lady registered because she is like she's just phenomenal. She's around 70, but like she has done incredible work in the world around brain injury because of
Uh-huh.
something that happened to her son.
Wow.
But like I've seen her as a keynote speaker places. So
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
I know I was
Yay.
overjoyed that she was like, I want to come with you, and I was like, yay.
Yay.
I
And
felt
then
honored.
did she reach out to you or did you reach out to her or did she like interact with some of your posting? Like,
You wouldn't believe this. So I'm on this call. I'm on this in this landmark course where I go on these calls for your conference for global transformation. So it's people who are transforming the world.
I love
So I
that.
was on the call sharing. I never spoke to her. I only share. It's an inquiry. There's no right answer. So you just talk about things. And I'm on
Yeah.
it every Wednesday morning. And anyway, she reaches out to me and says, Hey, tell me more about that retreat you were sharing about. And I said, Sure, here's my number. She goes, Can I call you this week? And I said, Sure, call me. And
Mhm.
she called me and she was like, Let me look at it. I promise I'll get back to you by tomorrow, but I think I'm an absolute yes. And then she called me the next day. She goes, I'm ready to give you my money. What tell me your link, whatever, send me your link. And yeah, and she filled out all her paperwork and everything.
Yeah, no, this is great. So this is like the joy, right? Almost of like also unexpected money.
Yeah.
It's like money that you plan probably in your income tracker because you're selling these spots, but you don't know magically how it's going to come through. And so if I
Right.
were to give a journal prompt, I would love for everybody to think of a time when the money has come through that is like unexpected. I was going to share with you a retreat sign up that I had that came through. I've had a lot of them in the past year because now people are referring my retreats. And so I'm like not even the one selling anymore. It's like my presenters are selling or my guests are selling. But I had a woman sign up from a messaging ad. And she's amazing. She's a great fit. And so that's a little more strategic, right? Like I ran a messaging ad. She signed up for my retreat. And then she said, I have a friend that's in Canada. And she's an online friend. She's really amazing. She is a photographer and, or no, she's a website designer. She's a website designer and she would like to come. So I connected with her friend. Her friend signed up. Okay. But then the real kicker is the next day, I got a message from the friend. How many spots do you have left? I said, two spots. And I got another, at that time, I had three spots. And then within the hour, I saw somebody pay in full, a name I didn't even recognize. I go, who the heck is this? She goes, oh, that's my friend. And she's a food blogger. And she wants to go to Italy because of obviously we're going to be on a biodynamic farm with the food. And she's going to take, create some beautiful creative content like around her food. So we have a website designer, food blogger, and a photographer and an interior designer. So it's really attracting a lot of creative women, but that's like unexpected money. And so if I gave a journaling prompt to kind of reconnect with like that joy, and Marie just gave the best example of it. It's like when somebody reaches out to you, it seems like it's really divine. It's really divine synchronicity that this person has come into your world and then is paid and it's joyful, right? Because it feels easeful. Like it probably felt, Marie, like you didn't really have to do too much work for that sale, right? Like you weren't,
Yeah, nothing. I mean,
yeah, you
like,
weren't like
yes. I just sent her the email and she was like, okay. She asked me a couple questions. I listened to her story about why she wanted to come and what happened between her and her husband. And I said, wow. And she said, yeah. And she said, I'm ready.
I
She,
love it.
she asked me
I
how my days were going to go. That's really the only question she asked me.
I love it. And it's different than the frequency of like I did have a contrasting call last week where the woman wanted to be pushed. I could feel it. She wanted me to convince her. She wanted me to tell her why. She wanted me to tell her all the ways she's going to get the ROI. And I always say my clients get an ROI. They always get an ROI from their investment.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 5 times, and sometimes it's 10 times, and sometimes it's 20 times.
Yeah.
But the people that get the ROI are the ones that are energetically open to, you know, they're doing the work, but then they're also playing in the realm of the magic and the manifestations. And so that woman didn't sign up, right? But I already kind of knew from the call that she wasn't going to be a fit. And I will almost say that on a call, you can tell within the first 15 minutes. I really don't think you have to stay on calls for 30 minutes, an hour, because when people are really having you push them and you're having to kind of do the heavy lifting and you're kind of having to be in your masculine, like I started to feel like I had to be in my masculine with her because I was feeling like she wasn't really ready. She wasn't ready and she wanted somebody to convince her to take action. And I will never convince people to take action. I mean, maybe in early on in my business, I felt that I needed to do that, but it didn't attract the action takers, right? Because the action takers are the women that will take action on their own every week and get different, exciting results, based on the work that we do. So just going into energetics, and then a little secret, a little shift I have around when you do have those heavier sales calls, you want to release them. You want to just completely release it because it's not aligned energy. You don't want that energy actually coming into your business because then you're going to be thinking about, okay, how do I make the offer less expensive? How do I shrink down the offer? And then we get into shrinking instead of expansion. And so we want to stay in our upward spiral, in our expansion, out of contraction. And we also want to, if we have a downsell, if we have a way that they can be accessible to us, we want to give them that opportunity, right? But some people won't take it because either it's not the right time for them, which is fine. So we make sales when it's the right timing, the right offer, and the right time, the right offer, and sometimes like I'll say the right pricing, because sometimes the pricing does inform people what they're ready to invest. So those are the three things that I always think about when I'm creating the offers. Um, and I think we covered the energetic reset. How are you feeling right now in your business? What's really lighting you up? And so if somebody has something that's really lighting them up and you'd like to come off mute and share, feel free to share what's really lighting you up right now. What's the thing that's giving you and shifting you into that frequency of joy and abundance?
I definitely am in a very much better mental state and emotional state. Like the first you saw it. I was honestly really terrified with the first 3 weeks of or the first three shows
Yeah,
that I had,
yeah,
and
yeah.
this last one.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm like, I don't, is that going to be how this entire summer is? Because if that's the case, then like I need to make some drastic changes. But this was a great weekend. I was there by myself the entire time. So typically Jacob is with me in like the
Yeah.
back. And he was out of town. So like he came for setup and tear down, but the rest was me. And so like I could do anything I wanted to without like having to worry about like where's his placement gonna be, what like it doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it felt like I had so much more power, even though there's really not that much of a difference, but like it felt like I had so much more power. Um, Made like twice as many, three times as many sales as the
Yay,
last one.
Emma.
So yeah,
I love
that's
that.
it felt
I love
great.
that.
It felt so great. And
Mhm.
honestly, like a huge relief. And then I have been in talks with a couple people about some extra projects, extra collabs, and then I'm dreaming up some new solo shows. So yeah.
Beautiful. And this is why we have this container. We have these other entrepreneurs to lean on, and we have our Telegram because in business, just like in life, there's always going to be periods of expansion and periods of contraction. And
Mhm.
one thing I love about masterminds is nobody's ever at the same place at this all at the same time. So some weeks somebody might be having big wins, some weeks somebody might be experiencing a setback. And that's just modeling to us the reality of what it is to be a long-term, entrepreneur doing business. And
Mhm.
so I'm really loving this expansion for you. I'm loving the momentum. Like whenever I start to get momentum, I just like to keep in that frequency and keep saying, okay, what's this? What's next? What's next? What's next? What am I calling in next? Right? And that's how we just continue to spiral up. Especially if we go through a period where we experience like a setback or like we feel like we're getting a little bit boxed in or a little bit stuck, we can just use our creativity to continue to expand. So I'm really excited for you and I'm excited to hear that. And Marie, I'd love to hear from you if there's something that's really lighting you up right now.
Well, I think what's lighting me up right now is really this retreat. It is just
I can
has
tell.
me.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm so excited to stay in this castle
Yes.
in the 300, the infinity pool's my favorite.
I
And I
love
love
those.
Italy. So the retreat is just like ridiculously exciting me.
It's ridiculously. And like, do you wake up like every morning and you're like, I'm gonna be in Italy?
Yeah, and you know what I'm doing in my mind? I realized I made this collage
Oh.
and
Oh
I
yeah,
put
yeah.
sold out on it. And so I keep
Hmm.
holding this vision and seeing my post where I cannot wait to write on my IG story the castle and then put
I
sold out
cannot wait either.
retreat.
I'm gonna be so excited for that. And
So I
also,
keep envisioning it.
I was going to say, I love how you just brought it back to the vision. I think that the vision, and I probably have said this like time and time again, the vision is literally the most important thing about our business. And as creatives, as spirituals, as intuitives, our superpower is our vision. And sometimes we forget to use it. But when you cast the vision, does not matter. Like, I mean, strategy is important, but the vision is like going to happen. Like you're setting a chain reaction in motion. And this is what I mentioned to Emma right before you hopped on, Marie, is that during high value collaborations, I kept having a vision that I would have my art at a like a high end hotel, like a five-star hotel. I've been staying at a lot of hotels, like for these little micro, like mini vacations. Like we're up in Yosemite for a wedding. We stayed at this resort. It had some great art. We were down in Encinitas. We stayed at like a Hilton. It still had some great like coastal art, right? And so I was like, I was just noticing. So when you see things in your external reality that remind you of your vision, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, right? Then I didn't even reach out to anybody for this collaboration, but I was just approached by a five-star hotel that is opening a gallery inside of a five-star in Miami. And they want to have my art. They want to have a couple pieces of my art. And then the rest they're going to put online, which I find like a very compelling model that I'm going to go more into with the artists. Um, but long story short, it's the vision. We set a chain reaction. The universe can deliver it super quickly if we're not in resistance. So if that curator called me and I said, "Look, I'm really busy. I'm doing all this stuff and I don't have time for you." But it's like, "No, this is what I asked for. This is the vision. It's all happening." So if you're ever feeling stuck, if you're ever feeling a little lost, Marie has reminded us so beautifully that we come back to our powerful vision. What's your vision of the summer? What do you want it to look like? What do you want the next 90 days to look like? I was even having my son, because he just got out of school, I said, write a summer bucket list. Write your bucket list, because let's make it that. Remember how you guys did the 25 beautiful moments? Go
Hmm.
back and check those and start to see, because all of that is going to come in. All of it. Every single moment that you're imagining and that you're wishing for and that you're desiring. And so, casting the vision that you really would like to create. So, I'm going to go into lead magnets a little bit, lead magnets and launch calendar. My launch calendar, the reason I did this visual for you, where you see my little highlighted weeks and stuff, is because I'm running like four different offers. And I just wanted you to see that, how I do it when I have different offers going on. And so if you have one main offer and then you have other little micro offers, you can put those over the weekends. Right now, I sell mostly my services during the week, and then I do my art offers on the weekends, because I found for me trying to sell physical products and services, just it was very confusing in my marketing for a long time until I found a flow that worked for me. I also put my micro offers on the weekends so that people can just jump in and come into my funnel, into my world, right? And so, did anybody have need any further clarification around their lead magnets or their launch calendar? Um, as we chat more. And if you want me to just talk a little bit more, I can talk about what I would describe as a lead magnet, a lead generating offer that I hopped into one of my friends, Lisa, gave yesterday. She really inspired me to do something similar. So if you want to hear about that, let me know. Or if you have questions about your lead magnet or your launch calendar, please ask.
I think I just have a question. I don't know if this is a viable question to answer,
Oh, I feel
Melanie.
well, if it's a question, I'm sure it's viable.
Well,
So,
it's just that I don't, like, so, I post a lead mag, but no one is replying. I don't know. People are just like not responding, but
oh,
they,
okay, tell me. Okay, so you're saying you posted like, do you want this? And like nobody's responding.
Yeah, I posted on my story on Instagram. I posted on Facebook, and I asked my sister, I said, "Can you help me out and just respond
Yeah,
so
no, that's
that
actually
I
good
can get the
because sometimes
algorithm
the
going?"
algorithm is just sleeping on you. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's how my Facebook group is right now. It's like, I don't know what I did to piss off Facebook, but like I have 500 people in the group and I posted a really good post and I I got like five people, and that's okay. I mean, I've had viral posts before and I've had non-viral posts. And so then usually what I do when it's become like crickets and nobody's really saying, I start to post engagement posts. And people love to talk about themselves. They love to share about themselves. I saw a really good engagement post yesterday that where the coach said, brag about one thing you've accomplished. Well, why do people love to brag about themselves? Because they're essentially sharing their offers in the comments, right? Like that's what they're
Yeah.
doing when they brag about themselves. But that's like getting engagements, like getting conversation going. Other
Okay.
things, if you post, like I just did my son's graduation. It's because I wanted to celebrate him, and we do have a lot of friends and family that are like watching, but it's also giving a little bit of lifestyle because people are probably tired hearing like offer, offer, offer. So then you've got to like sprinkle in some lifestyle stuff that like, people get really excited about, milestones. Life accomplishments. People get really, it's just really engaging to people because it's relatable. Like they remember when their child graduated school, or they remember when they graduated school. Like it's just really relatable. And so just getting the algorithm going, whether you're talking about, I think I just did one like, would you rather go to Tuscany or Costa Rica? I'm actually just curious, like, where are those
Saw that one. Yeah.
places that people are like, what did you say, Marie? Did you have a response to that?
Tuscany, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I feel like there's like the Costa Rica crowd, maybe there's like the Bali crowd. So I'm just gauging like so just starting conversation. I mean, I see this one all the time, tea or coffee. It might sound boring, but I don't know why, but people love to talk about if they are tea drinkers or if they're never drink coffee because they gave up caffeine. Like they will go on and on about this post. So sometimes you just have to ask something that's
Yeah.
gonna like really get them like, uh get them going so they see a little bit more. And if you
Okay.
feel like your lead magnet is not working, then I'm going to share what Lisa did because I think that and then I want to talk about Emma's lead magnet for just a minute. What my friend Lisa did. Now, Lisa is a
Can I just
coach.
interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah. Mhm.
I would so love, I just got present to something. You have all this language that I really write down because I don't know
Okay.
engagement, post, lead magnet,
Yes.
all of these things you say. If you could write those down, because I don't know this language and I'm learning it and I love it, but it is, you have this plethora of knowledge
Yeah. I mean,
that
I
would
write.
just make such a big difference for me.
And the interesting
So
thing is
cool.
it's jargon. So actually I use jargon inside my mastermind, but in my post, I should not use jargon. So the other
Right,
day
right.
in my quantum collaborations marketing, I was saying if you want to create lead generating collaborations, and I realized nobody knows what the hell a lead generating collaboration is. So I had
Yeah,
to change it and I
yeah.
had to say, if you want to get more clients through collaborations, lead generation is where clients come into your world. It's the top of the funnel where they're coming into your world. Even when I say funnel, and my husband is in technology and in product, chief of product for a big company, he goes, what's a funnel? He's like, I've been explaining to him what a funnel is now for like 5 years. But this is our online creator coach jargon, but absolutely. And so lead magnet is the way that magnetizes or attracts people. That's so fun into your world. Would that be fun, Marie? Like having a like Emma said, like a little glossary, like a cheat sheet.
Yes, it would be amazing, honestly.
But inside the mastermind, I use jargon, but like in my market.
Yeah, not for the
Right?
world,
If
just
I
for
use
us.
jargon, people are going to say, what the hell is
Yeah.
she talking about? I don't know
Right.
what a lead generating workshop is. What does that mean? I'm going to go generate something, you
Hmm.
know? How to get collectors into your world, how to get collectors into your ecosystem, which is another one that is, that's where all of your offers interrelate and you have upsells and downsells in different ways that people can work with you. I really think of the ecosystem as like after this 3 months, like in, 6 months. Like I'm working with a one-on-one client right now. She's on a 3-month journey with me. And like in the 3 to 6 months, she'll start to build her entire offer ecosystem. If you've worked with me for a while, then you've already probably started building it. So, okay. So, an easy lead magnet that just like breaks people, like this is what I saw my friend Lisa do. And I'll just say Lisa's one of my clients. She's come on one of my retreats. She's also a very successful retreat host. She hosts retreats all over the US. And she is like a life coach and a divine channel and all this cool stuff. Okay. So she gave a Zoom link for Monday and Wednesday of this week, and she channels light codes. So she does like light code activations. And honestly, I don't always have time to go to free stuff. I'm going to be honest, I like paid lead magnets a little bit more right now. But because it was Lisa, I knew it would be really good. And so I hopped onto her free thing. Okay. It was a Zoom link. It was really late in the day yesterday, like 5:30. So I actually had time to hop on. And she's on Central Time. Emma, she's in Chicago. So it was 7:30 her time. So she was probably thinking after dinner for some people on the East Coast and Central Time. And for me, I just wrapped up my coaching and my shamanic practices. I was able to hop on. What she did, and I didn't expect a 1 hour workshop, I'm going to be really honest, but it was like a 30-minute workshop. But here's what I loved that I saw her do. And she just follows her intuition and her intuitive guidance. So I'm sharing this because for some people, this is just going to work way better for you if you just follow your creativity and create something from pure spirit. Sometimes I have to do that, and then I get bored with my own lead magnets and I have to go create another one because I have an idea. So it just depends how you operate and how you work. So she offered this light code activation, and I was like, oh, that would be great for me right now because of all the density that I'm feeling in the city, right? And so, but before that, before she offered, now she used to be, she used to be in sales, so she's very sales savvy. So I have to say, I think that she knew what she knows what she's doing. She opened with her beautiful offerings, which are soul offerings. They're beautiful offerings. She talked to people about how her clients help her to be able to create her work and to fill her mission and her purpose. And that was so beautiful. And then after she did that, she talked about her three offerings, which is her one-on-one life coaching. And then she talked about two retreats that she has. She has an Italy retreat, Marie. And it's in the same, I no, actually it's next spring, so it's not right now, but she's hosting retreats the same months that I'm hosting retreats. So it's a little tricky for me to ever get to one, but she talked about her Italy retreat and then she talked about her Mount Shasta retreat. And then she went into her meditation, her light code activation, and everything that she promised. Now, what I loved about what she did is people are really used to being pitched at the end. So you take a workshop, a master class, and then the pitch comes the last 10 minutes at the end. She flipped that on its head. And she said, no, it's too important. My offers are too important to put at the 10 minutes at the end. And she talked about it at the very beginning. And of course, everybody stuck around because everybody's waiting for this magical light code activation as well. And then at the end, she asked the question, she said, who's thinking about coming? Who's thinking about that they want this or coming? And several people raised their hands and asked questions. And so she most likely got signups from this inspired, beautiful gift that she offered for to people, which was these light code activations. Because sometimes we're just so used to selling one way or receiving one way that we need to change it. So, in my mind, that's Lisa's lead magnet. That's the way people came into Lisa's world through this 60-minute free workshop. And it doesn't have to be free. And it could be 30 minutes. Like I really only had 30 minutes because I still had to make dinner for my son. So I was expecting something shorter. I think you could do shorter. She obviously followed her inner guidance and it was perfect just how it was. But I'm always learning from watching other entrepreneurs watching what they're doing and seeing what works. And I love that she didn't follow that much of a set formula. She just felt like doing this. And what she did is she just sent me the Zoom link. She just sent me the Zoom link and said, "Hey, I'm doing a light language activation on Wednesday if you want to come." And she probably sent that out to like 50 people. I bet she sent it to like 50 people. And this brings me to the conversation about income tracking. And I'll go back because people might still have launch questions and lead magnet questions, but I'm going to tie into this a little bit. If you're not hitting the numbers you want to hit, there's usually just two reasons. And it's the two actions that I said you have to do every day, if not weekly, in your business. If you can't do it every day, you just do it weekly. But if you're not getting enough leads, then or traffic, then that ends up becoming a problem. Now, Emma, I know you have enough leads, enough traffic because I'll go on your Instagram too, Marie, but Emma, I've been on your Instagram for a long time now. You have tons of people in your world. So every single number of followers is like somebody who can buy from you right now, not later. Doesn't have to be a lot of time between now and the sale. Somebody that can buy from you right now. And so, those are all warm leads. Those are all people who are about to buy something from you. And if you're not making enough, you're like hitting your numbers when we go over this income tracker, then you might not be making enough offers. And what I mean is, she probably messaged like 50 people. And I don't mean that she cold messaged them. Like, she knows me really well. She's come on my retreats. Okay. So she wasn't like messaging someone she's never had a conversation with before and sending them a Zoom link. She's sending this to people that are in her world. And she's saying, "I have this beautiful gift that's happening. It's going to be a light code activation." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great. If I can get back and get done and get all my stuff in order, I'm going to hop on." Now, if it was paid, if it was a micro offer, where I had to pay $11, I would have made sure I got on. I wouldn't have been like, "Oh, you know, if I get my stuff done and everything else." So that's the difference between freebies, free lead magnets, and paid lead magnets. Most people in the coaching world are shifting toward paid because you want actual buyers in your world. You don't want freebie seekers. But my guess is with Lisa that she messaged people who've already bought from her in the past. And so she already had qualified us. She knows that we're like serious buyers. I had had a spiritual reading with her once before. Um, so she already knew. So she just wanted to give. And sometimes when you just give, then the universe can just give back to you. And that's Aini, the law, the shamanic practice of reciprocity. When you invest in somebody, you invest in yourself, you pay for something, the universe says, "Oh, let me give you back." And usually, if you thank your money, and I know Marie knows these practices, if you say thank you when you pay, and "I am so abundant," then the universe can multiply that investment. That's the way that I think about all of my investments. I don't feel like I'm paying anymore. I feel like I'm putting money out into the universe that can multiply and come back to me. And so, did anybody have anything else they wanted to share about lead magnets? And Emma, I think your lead magnet is really fun.
I'm not actually, I'm not energized by it. So like your feedback was super solid. I think I don't know. I don't know. And I have a
Okay.
launch calendar, but I'm not
Yeah.
excited about that either. And so I'm
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong here because
No,
like
it's
none of it feels
okay.
fun. It feels very draining and like it feels like I'm trying to find things to give away for free. Um, yeah,
Say that last part again.
it feels like I'm trying to find things to give away for free.
Mm,
And so I don't know. I don't know.
no, that's okay. That's okay. What I want to do is I want to ask good questions if you don't know. So, what felt when you say it feels like I'm trying to give something away for free and it's not energizing you, what would energize you?
Um, I mean, the things that I'm already doing. Like
Great.
the
Yeah.
stories that I'm telling are
Yeah.
already for free through Instagram captions.
Totally. Yeah.
or like various blog type things.
Yeah,
Or
no,
my
talk about that. What kind of blog kind of stuff are you doing right now?
It's with a so my friend created a website for me. It's just my personal website. It's not my art website.
Okay.
But she really wants to help like tell my story. And so she's been posting a few on those. But she's really busy, so she's like, let's hold back on that. So I don't really know. I don't nothing really. I wouldn't say like
But does that
I would say
format,
nothing
like, does the
that
format of like written format resonate more with you?
um yes, but only if it's like something I want to talk about versus feeling like I'm selling something. Like I wrote down a few when I was working on my launch calendar. Some words came to me, so I like wrote down what transformation of a commission looks like in a couple different ways,
Mm,
and that was nice. But
okay.
it's like that feels like I'm selling something still. It feels like I'm selling the transformation.
And what is wrong? Okay, this is
Yeah.
interesting. What is doesn't feel good about the feeling of selling something?
Um. Just what doesn't feel good about
Like when
that?
you feel like you know that you're going to sell something, right? Like sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like that. Like I did a hand raiser post about high value collaborations and I knew I was going to sell something. And I did have that like ick for a minute. I kind of had the
Mhm.
ick because I was like, um, you know, I'll have to find the specific post, but it went off. It went off. Tons of people came into high value collaborations, and then
Yeah.
I was able to serve them, which was amazing. So the interesting thing is, even though I did have like a little bit of that feeling of ick, because I knew in the back of my mind I might be making an offer about something,
Mhm.
then I knew I was also able to serve people really, really deeply, and that felt really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm curious when you say that it doesn't feel good because you know you're going to sell something, what part of that, like, and it's completely fine. I just want to hear your answer. Like, what part of that doesn't feel good?
Yeah, I think what doesn't feel good is honestly like the entirety of Instagram right now. It just feels so uh shallow leveled.
Got it. Okay.
Everything feels like I need to be doing something for someone else's
Like
entertainment.
performative almost.
Yeah, very much so.
Are you?
Yeah, which like I love the performing arts, but
Yeah, I know.
um
You're so good
right,
at
but
it.
like but then also freaking pay me. Like I just Instagram is a free playground and I'm an expensive playground and I don't know how to like collide those two in a way that feels like I'm getting something back for all the effort I'm putting in.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that that is like the gem or like the nugget of gold in what you've just said is I don't know how to get something back for all the effort I'm putting in.
Yeah.
How does it feel when you feel like you're putting in all the effort and you're not getting something back?
Rejection.
Yeah, heavy, devastating, draining. So what if we could just make Instagram like your playground and just completely like blow this up because I've seen this 100 times in my own business, in my clients' businesses, whenever we feel like we have to do something. I'm showing up on Instagram right now because I have to, and that's how I'm going to get money. Does that feel good?
No, I mean, no,
No.
definitely not.
And do you know like a lot of other ways that'll directly lead to a sale besides Instagram? That if you didn't want to do Instagram for a whole month, if you just wanted to take a break, or if you just wanted to post once a week or whenever you felt inspired, do you know other ways to get sales besides on Instagram?
Yes, art fairs are like a given for this season, but it's only for this season. The rest of the year, like not consistently. I mean, I can definitely come up with other ideas.
I think we need to make a list. I think we need to make a list of all the other ways that art sales can happen and do happen that are not on Instagram.
Okay.
Because Instagram is fun, when you get to show up and you get to be playful and you get to post when you feel inspired. And I was exactly there about a year and a half ago. I was very burned out on Instagram, or 2 years ago. I ended up working with a social media influencer that ended up like starting paying me to post. And then I felt like at least I'm getting paid for this. Not a social media, a brand. She was like a brand rep. So I started getting paid to post with brands and I started having more fun with my content. So the question that I like to ask is like, how can I make this more fun? What would make this more fun? And then the second part is if you really like written content, I'm just going to throw this out there. I see a lot of people that are they're sharing with their lists, right? Like a taster, like an email. And then at the bottom, they're inviting them into paid content on a Substack or something like that. So you could have a gated contact, a gated community, a gated membership for your collectors where they could get the downloads and the musings and stuff. And you could just post the tasters on Instagram for free. And you could start getting paid to have people reading your musings and all of that inside of your community. And that could even happen most likely on your new site that Pam created. There could be a way to just link over to a Substack or something like that where people are paying you. I'd rather see you get paid rather than creating tons and tons of free content. When I create free content, it's like very strategic. Um, and it's usually designed to do something because I don't have time to just wake up and post, like none of us do, right? Like none of us really have time for that. And so just giving yourself permission to post when it feels fun, when it feels exciting. And I think that what happens is when we know that we need to create money, I'm gonna ask this I'm gonna make a list of the ways that I would create an instant art sale, and then I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to expand on it. And I bet there's so many other ways besides Instagram. And then I'm going to drop that in the Telegram. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's free ourselves. I'm going to show you this fun high value collaborations lead generation post that I did that went off. I had no idea and just ignore all the tabs that are open right now. Okay. Um, I'm getting together April 24th, visionary creatives and coaches to brainstorm high value collaborations. Would you like to join us? And I knew I was going to present this to you guys inside the mastermind anyway. I knew I was going to share this because it's a strategy that's worked so well for me to grow my audience. Um, and I ended up getting 55 comments. Now, like half of them are like me writing people back. And like some of them were like freebie seekers that like didn't want to pay to join. Then they found out that it was paid and then they couldn't do it. That's okay. That's okay. My work's not for everybody. So, yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, and then, so that's a hand raiser post. Did I know that that post was going to completely go off? I really didn't know that. I did not know that. I bet if I wanted to do another lead generating, I'm getting together people who are, interested in clearing their space and redesigning their space. And I'm going to give some tips live on how you can do that and how you can make your house look amazing through art. Would you like to get together with me? What if like 30 people raised their hand and said, Emma, I want to hop on and have a tea with you on a Friday night or, a Wednesday night, and I want to hear about, how you do what you do, or I want to hear about what inspires you. So we just have to play. And if you're like, that doesn't sound fun to me, that sounds terrifying, getting a bunch of people online on maybe you want to write something, maybe you want to do some written content. So first step is find out what way you like to communicate with people the most, whether it be video format, whether it be written, whether you rather just invite them into, I know you have this beautiful one-on-one offer where they can paint a commission with you. Is that right?
Mhm.
So is there like a live, could you go live for 30 minutes and have people hop on that might want to do that? And then at the end, ask them, or at the beginning, tell them, I have this opportunity that you can do this with me. And then, but then right now, I'm going to show you what that feels like, right? It's like Usually whenever we don't want to do something, it's because we don't like the structure that we think we have to deliver it in, and it's not lighting us up, and we're just over it, and we're like, I'm not going to do that. So then it's your job to get really, really curious about like what would I like to do right now that would feel fun. Okay, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, it was.
Um, okay. And then I'm just looking at my notes on the launch calendars. So you can go, some people are going to love to be super detailed in their launches, and that's going to really support them. And some people are just going to need to have like an overarching theme of like what they're going to wake up and be selling for the week. The only reason I like to know that is it just for me, it helps keep me focused. And I know that most creators know what they're launching, whether it be a collection, whether it be a class or a course, they know what they're selling every week. And there can be weeks where you don't sell, where you're like, I'm not selling, but then unless you're running ads, then the weeks that you're not selling, you're going to notice a dip in your income unless you've created a lot of assets online, like a lot of videos of you talking either on YouTube, either on a podcast, either you're in a lot of publications. And that's what starts to happen once you've really scaled your business is you've kind of showed up in all these different places. And so you get sales just because you're in a magazine or because you're on a podcast or because you're on Pinterest. Pinterest is a really good place to drive long-term traffic to your website. I do have a whole training on that. I wasn't able to do it inside this mastermind because it doesn't always lead to sales right now, it leads to long-term sales. And so if you were like committed to that strategy of like penning your art or penning your coaching service, then you could have traffic driving to your website. That might be like a one-off workshop that I offer because frankly, there's a lot of people in my world that probably want to do that and want to create long-term traffic using Pinterest and it's free. It's not like you're paying Pinterest for ads you pin in a certain way to drive leads to your site all the time. And so
Do you
uh,
have a school for that? That's awesome.
I don't have a school video. I've given the training now like so many times to my one-on-one clients that I feel like I should do like a big group training on that because my Pinterest right now gets 50,000 views a month. It used to get 100,000 views a month when I was actively pinning. Imagine if 100,000 views a month link to your website and those people click your pins, they end up on your website and your coaching offers or buying your art. And it does happen. People opt into my email list every day from Pinterest. And so it's something I'm thinking about offering this summer. I just need to find the right week that I can drop that because, like I said, it's not going to be immediate cash injection, but what will happen is if you build it out, it's a traffic engine running for free to your website and you'll get instant sales from it. Sometimes when my art just like magically sells on Minted, it's because I've driven Pinterest traffic to Minted. So I'm actually driving traffic to their site for them. I'm okay with that because the more I sell over there, the more they just show people my stuff. So, okay. I've even seen people running Pinterest traffic now to their Instagram. So, like, if their Instagram feels suppressed or not getting enough reach, they're running Pinterest traffic to their offers on Instagram. And then people are buying from their Instagram because people go on Pinterest looking like Google, like a search engine. They search it looking for certain things. Looking for art is a huge one. Looking for a shadow work. Okay. So, if you're like a coach that does like one of my coaches does shadow work. Shadow work is huge right now. They go on Pinterest looking for, how to do shadow work. And then imagine it takes them straight to your little article, your little blog post, or your Substack on how to do shadow work. Well, automatically you're going to have a person that's a new client that's come into your world almost immediately. So here's the journaling question that I have because I know I've dropped a lot of information right now, and you can go back and you can watch this training again because I'm going to be putting it in school today. And it's not going to have a beautiful cover. I just realized I just need to get the recordings up and then I can go back and put all the covers on and all of that. But where do I need the support the most right now? Is it in lead generation or is it in offer refinement? Or is it just in like finding like more joy in what I'm creating? And if this is what my inner guidance is telling me, if you're creating something and you're having a lot of resistance around it, there's a chance that you're just creating something that you don't want to create right now. That something else might truly be lighting you up, and you might have to go have some fun, take a day off, and really get really curious about like what would that be? And you can ask the universe as well. You can say, just give me a sign. Just show me what the next thing is that's going to really light me up. And the universe always delivers when we start really paying attention to the signs. So, okay, just giving you just a second to journal on that. So, where do I need the most support right now? And then I'm going to open the income tracker because I was going to go more over it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'll just open it though to share with you like a potential kind of breakdown. Okay. So if I share this with you, okay, this isn't mine. Mine, I've already filled it out, but if you told me, like somebody said, I think 100, like something like they want to make 100K by October. And I'm a huge fan of like money coming in expected and unexpected ways. So, but if you can map out how that money will actually come in, it will just help you to get closer and closer to your goal. Because if you project more, then you're almost guaranteed to get 50% there, 75% there, right? If you project more. If that makes you feel bad, if you like are like, I'm going to plan 100K, but I'm only going to get 50K, then maybe you want to project less and maybe you want to overflow it. Maybe you would feel better if it was like beyond that. That's cool. So know which way you are, okay? And then put your projections. And so I'm just going to say, like, what if your projection, I'm going to do like you wanted to make 75K because I know I can divide that by three really easily. So let's say if you want to have 25K months. And this really, like, when I really started doing this a couple years ago, what I realized is I needed ways to have monthly recurring revenue in order to hit these numbers. So I need to have the offers that supported the number that I wanted to call in. Because if I don't have the offer to support like the 25K month, then I'm not going to have the 25K month. How many years ago? 5 years ago, I think I recorded a training that was called Roadmap to 5K. And it was all about how to have a 5K month. Okay. That was like 5 years ago. And I think I was having 9K months at the time. And I broke down exactly how I had 9K months consistently. And that was a training that I gave like 5 years ago in my online coaching business. And then as I expanded my income to six figures and beyond, then I started to map out higher months. Like now I would never give that training. I would give like a training how to have a 25K month or a 30K month. So, I know a lot of coaches are, wanting to have 100K months, and a lot of artists want to have 100K months. Well, what do you need to sell to have that? And then create your offers accordingly, and don't feel bad when people can't, when it's not for them. You just got to find the people that it is for. And there's people buying offers at every level. And so when Marie said that the keynote speaker came into her retreat, this is another principle of selling. Make offers to people that you know can say yes. So if you want to have an easier time selling, make the offer to somebody that you know is, or that you have a sense that they're going to be able to say yes. If you keep making offers to people who are, under-resourced, then they're not going to be able to say yes. And it's going to feel very heavy. And then you're going to feel frustrated because you feel like they're rejecting your offer, but really what they're doing is they're saying, I can't say yes right now. And that's okay. So if you wanted to have 75K summer, this is just an example, you're going to want to hit 20K months. And then what you're going to do in this column is you're going to hit what you've actually brought in, right? Then here, any notes or insight. So when you go over to the offer breakdown, what I would have you do is write down like what are those offers that you're going to be making in the next 90 days? Like what are you going to be sharing with people? Is it a 10K painting? Is it a commission opportunity? Is it one of your courses? Is it one of your digital courses? If you just wake up and talk about that every day, somebody's going to sign up, right? You could do a carousel post to get people to say yes. That's what people are saying yes to on my Instagram right now is like a lot of my carousel posts. So I would have to have a different session to go into how to create that. But what's the price point? And you'll see when you do this, is there an offer that the price point is just too low that if you focus on this low price point offer all the time, you're not going to hit your number. So you're going to have to go for the bigger ones. And then the low ones might be your lead generators. It might be how people come into your world. It might be a downsell that you offer when people say they can't afford something, but you still want to offer them a pathway to working with you. And then go here, your June goal, right? Like, so right now, if I look at my calendar, okay, I'm selling my 1 day Mallorca experience where people can come to a 1 day event in Mallorca. So, like, I'm going to be selling that a lot in June. I'm finishing selling my last two Italy spots in June. Okay. And then I'm going to open up some VIP days and some one-on-one journeys later in the month. Okay. And then on the weekends, I'm selling certain artwork that mostly I have it online on different sites. So it does the selling for me. Okay. So I'm not showing up and physically selling it all the time. So then once you've got your goal for each month, then you're going to check, okay, how am I doing with this? And I would say check at least weekly so that you can make sure that you're hitting it. And then here is the June tracker where you break it down by weeks. Since June is almost over, you can just copy this tab over. You can create yourself a July tracker. This is a tool for you to have to anchor in the clients, the collaborations, the financial experience that you want to have for the rest of summer. And it's not meant to make you feel stuck or be stressful. It's really just meant like I've been in different masterminds where they like used to ask like us to like turn in our income trackers and stuff, and I would like never do it, but I always do it for myself. So that's something that I wanted to share with you. That's okay if you have to go. I know we went over, so I get it. You look so nice, Marie. Okay, was this helpful?
Yes,
Okay.
very,
So the
very.
income
Thank you.
tracker is a tool that
Yeah.
you can just take with you. And I was going to cover creating a ritual around the frequency of joy, but I'm thinking now, because that was the fourth thing I was going to cover today, I might do that as like a 1 day, like a free experience on Monday or something, because I feel like a lot of people in my world might want to create a ritual around the frequency of joy. So if you want to drop in for that, I think I'm going to offer it on Monday night. Um, and I'll just like drop the invite in the Telegram for you guys. And this recording will go up in the portal. So
What time Monday?
it'll definitely be like later in the day. I'm thinking probably around like 5, so 7 for you.
Oh,
Is that really late?
damn. Yeah, that won't work for me.
You have something going on. Well,
Yeah.
I'll see. It might be 4. I know I can't do a little earlier because I have my one-on-one clients. But don't forget to sign up for your final one-on-one session with me. And I'll drop the invite into the Telegram as well if you guys want to hop on that. Okay?
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much, Hillary. That was really, today was amazing for me.
Oh, good. Awesome. I love to hear
Bye.
that. Okay. Bye.
Bye, Emma. Bye.